Welcome back to Sunrise. They're taking a look at this Ken Nnamani Electoral Reforms Committee report, but there are those who also argue about the waste one, the previous report before the waste, and they ask, do we actually need this committee to go around this public hearing if we haven't implemented the previous ones to a large extent?
Do we need it? No. Does the government and the APC government in power now need it? Yes. Because...
Will they implement it?
It may not be issue of implementation. When we get to that bridge, we cross it. But at least you have seen that Ken Nnamani has become an APC chieftain. Okorocha, the governor of Imo State, ceded his position as the leader of APC in the southeast to Ken Nnamani. So this is another way of making one of their APC chieftains very busy. Because I said, if those people who went to school know that if you do not know how to use pen, you will not write your name. So those who know what good governance is, they know by seeing or smelling a good electoral process or effort at making one.
This is not a futile exercise, are you saying?
I will not use the word futile because at least some people are having some good time.
When you talked about the electronic or going digital in terms of our election process.
Digital and depersonalized.
And depersonalized.
Yes.
According to
the emphasis is depersonalized. It doesn't have to be Gimba. It doesn't have to be Chima.
How does that
affect material about who is driving the process?
How does that, though, affect the likelihood of reducing violence during elections? Completely.
How many times, apart from robbers, seeing somebody drawing money from the ATM, how many times did you have problem with anybody that you had your ATM card? You don't have problem. And effort has been made now by many banks and those who are using the ATM to reduce the incidence of attack. Now, if you have a robust system that has configured the possibilities, productivity will escalate because the whole system is brought down that we are doing election. The entire policing system is brought to a particular place at a colossal cost that always amount to a waste. Now, what you are telling armed robbers is that if it's an election this place, go for operation in the other area, while the operation of the state is the other way. It is no win situation for us, what we have today. They say this person has become governor, then when he comes in, he misgoverns.
But you talked about political will, saying that there's no political will to carry this through.
That is where the people must stand up. They must rise. Because we are tired of all these wishy-washy shenanigans. We should, even through advocacy and so on that we are talking now, you let people to understand that it is time for them to begin to have an opinion of their own.
Well, I get your point.
Take everything, the patterns that you are given.
There are challenges, even with the ATM, but I get your point that you can't have 100%.
There's no challenge that cannot be surmounted.
But
there have been many times going to the space before Apollo.
The lawmakers themselves also use the ATM. But do you think that they need this committee or any reform committee to suggest to them we have to go the way of electronic voting?
Chamberlain, I tell you, the day this country will be emancipated is the day we have somebody at the helm of affairs that is knowledgeable. Because if you talk about Plato's Republic, the emphasis was on knowledge. When you have knowledge, and knowledge is not knowing everything. If in the hospital you have a physician who has knowledge of different branches of medicine, he may not be an expert in gynecology, but he knows that this your problem is gynecological problem. He says go to the gynae. He knows that this one requires an orthopedic surgery. Go to orthopedics. You as a patient may not know all these things, but somebody who has good knowledge, that's what we call the G factor in intelligence. Psychology goes for the G factor, who has general knowledge of things, a little of everything. If you are in your house every time you need mechanic, instead of looking for something and fixing it, midnight you are still having problem. You don't have. So do it yourself, have a little knowledge of everything. When you have such a man at the helm of affairs, he's a good manager, because a good manager is the one that achieves results through people.
All right, Mr.
And the right people for that matter.
Mr. Naji is an advocate of good governance. Always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming on
today. Thank you very much.
We'll be back and turn our attention to another matter equally important. You'll find out in a moment if you don't go away.